Iriji festival was the one time of the year when the entire village forgot its struggles and celebrated. The yam harvest was not just a cultural event but a sacred tradition. Days before the festival, Abaduku came alive. Women sang as they pounded yam, men sharpened their machetes, and children practiced the dances they would perform. The village of Abaduku sat quietly at the edge of a forest, where thick green leaves whispered secrets to the wind. The paths were red with earth, and the smell of fresh palm wine always lingered in the air. Everyone knew everyone, and life was simple but full of challenges. Oluchi, a 14-year-old girl, stood out in the village for her maturity. She lived in a thatched-roof house with her parents, Shinonso and Chinasa, and her younger siblings, Tochi and Amarachi. Her father, Shinonso, was known for his booming laughter that echoed in the palm wine huts. But behind the laughter was a man who drank too much and worked too little. Chinasa, on the other hand, was loud and always busy dressing up for the village gatherings. Her wrappers were vibrant, and her geli stood tall on her head, but her love for appearances made her neglect her duties. Oluchi's days were filled with endless tasks. She fetched water from the river, cooked meals, washed clothes, and cared for her siblings. Sometimes, she stared at the sky and whispered, "Naani, when will things get better?" Her little brother Tochi would come running to her, asking, "Sister, is there still yam soup?" Oluchi would smile despite her exhaustion and say, "Come and see for yourself." She always made sure there was food, even if it meant going without herself. The Iriji festival was the one time of the year when the entire village forgot its struggles and celebrated. The yam harvest was not just a cultural event but a sacred tradition. Days before the festival, Abaduku came alive. Women sang as they pounded yam, men sharpened their machetes, and children practiced the dances they would perform. When it was time to leave, Chinasa said to Oluchi, "Take care of Tochi and Amarachi. Don't let them embarrass me." "Yes, Mama," Oluchi replied quietly. She held her siblings' hands tightly as they joined the crowd heading to the village square. The festival was a grand affair. Masquerades leaped and twirled, their colorful costumes dazzling the crowd. Drummers pounded their instruments with such vigor that the ground seemed to shake. Oluchi stood at the edge of the square, watching the excitement while keeping her siblings close. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the joy. A large pot of palm oil had tipped over near the cooking area, and before anyone could react, flames erupted. People screamed and ran in every direction. Oluchi held tightly to Tochi and Amarachi, shielding them from the chaos. "Stay close to me," she shouted, her voice drowned by the noise. She scanned the crowd for her parents but saw only strangers pushing and shoving. When the commotion finally died down, Oluchi realized they were alone. "We need to find somewhere safe," she told her siblings. She led them to an old hut near the river, a place she remembered visiting with her grandmother long ago. The hut was dusty, and the air smelled of damp wood, but it was the only refuge they had. Amarachi clung to Oluchi's waist. "Sister, I'm scared. Where are Mama and Papa?" Oluchi knelt down and wiped Amarachi's tears. "They will find us in the morning. Don't worry, just sleep now." Tochi, trying to be brave, asked, "Will we have food tomorrow?" Oluchi hesitated before replying, "Yes, I'll make sure we do." That night, as her siblings slept beside her, Oluchi stared at the thatched roof and whispered a prayer. "Chinik, give me strength. I don't know had to do." Days passed and their parents still didn't return. Oluchi quickly learned to adapt. She woke up at dawn to fetch water and gather firewood, which she sold in the market. Some kind neighbors gave her small jobs, like washing clothes or helping in their farms, and she used the money to buy food. One day, as Oluchi prepared a small meal, Tochi asked, "Sister, why are Mama and Papa taking so long to come back?" Oluchi's hands froze for a moment. She forced a smile and said, "They are busy, but don't worry, we'll be fine." Inside, her heart ached. While fetching water one afternoon, Oluchi overheard two women talking by the stream. "Did you hear about Shinonso and Chinasa?" One woman said, "They've moved to the city." left the village entirely. When the sun rose, Oluchi led her siblings back to their house, hoping their parents had returned. But when they arrived, the house was locked, and there was no sign of Shinonso or Chinasa. Mama Ikin, their elderly neighbor, saw them standing outside and came over. Oluchi, what are you doing here? Where are your parents? They didn't come home after the festival, Oluchi explained, her voice trembling. Mama Ikin sighed deeply. I saw them leaving early this morning with some people. They said they were going to a meeting in another village. Oluchi felt a pang in her chest. They didn't tell us, she whispered. Well, come inside and eat something, Mama Ikin offered. No, thank you, Oluchi said, trying to hold back tears. She couldn't show weakness, not in front of her siblings. Dropped her water pot, her heart pounding. They left, she whispered. The women noticed her and quickly changed the subject. But Oluchi had heard enough. That evening, she sat outside their house, staring at the dark sky. She didn't cry. She couldn't. Instead, she made a promise to herself. I'll take care of Tochi and Amarachi. No one will abandon us again. When Tochi fell ill with a high fever, Oluchi knew she couldn't wait for help. She packed what little they had and decided to find their parents in Enugu, where they were rumored to have gone. The journey was exhausting. They walked for days, often sleeping under trees or in the corners of bus stations. Strangers gave them scraps of food, and Oluchi thanked each one with tears in her eyes. At one point, Tochi collapsed from weakness. Oluchi carried him on her back, her legs shaking but her determination unbroken. We're almost there, she whispered, though she wasn't sure if it was true. When they finally reached Enugu, Oluchi asked around until someone directed her to a small, run-down apartment where her parents were staying. She knocked on the door, her heart racing. Chinasa opened the door, her face a mix of shock and irritation. Oluchi, what are you doing here? Mama, we need your help. Tochi is very sick, Oluchi pleaded, holding back tears. Shinonso appeared behind Chinasa, his expression cold. Why did you bring them here? Do you know how hard it is for us here? But we're your children, Oluchi cried. You're old enough to manage, Shinonso said, dismissing her. Go back to the village. The door slammed shut, leaving Oluchi and her siblings standing in the cold. As they wandered the streets, a kind woman named Ngozi noticed them. She was roasting yams by the roadside and offered them some. What are you children doing here alone? She asked gently. Oluchi hesitated before telling Ngozi their story. Ngozi listened with tears in her eyes. You're brave children, she said. Come with me. I'll take care of you. Ngozi became the mother Oluchi and her siblings needed. She enrolled them in school and taught Oluchi how to make akara, which they sold together at the market. Oluchi worked hard, determined to create a better future for her siblings. Years later, Oluchi had built a successful business and was raising Tochi and Amarachi with love and care. Shinonso and Chinasa, now homeless and destitute, returned to Abaduku, hoping to reconcile with their children. When they found Oluchi, they begged for forgiveness. I forgive you, Oluchi said, her voice steady, but I will never forget what you did. We survived not because of you, but despite you. She walked away, leaving her parents to face the weight of their actions. Thanks for watching. If the story encouraged you, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more inspirational stories.